Jai Hind. My name is Vajiram. Welcome to Vajiram Ravi. What makes the answer sheet of an All India Rank 6 stand out? This is what we are going to analyze today. Komal Punia, student of Sure Shot Mains program of Vajiram Ravi and GS Foundation, has secured All India Rank 6 in the UPSC 2024 examination. In this session, we will analyze how Komal was able to integrate the sure shot strategies in her answers of the Vajiram's test series. But before that, I will briefly show you the common mistakes which students make while writing their answers. I will also briefly provide a glimpse of the sure shot strategies that we teach our students to overcome these mistakes. And then we will see how Komal was able to perfectly incorporate and integrate the sure shot strategies in her answers. This is how we are going to proceed, right? Now let us begin. Where do most aspirants go wrong? I have summarized some of the major issues that students have as far as the answer writing is concerned. The fundamental issue is that poor note making and too much accumulation of materials. Your notes are passive notes, a bundle of multiple content from multiple sources without having any framework or structure. So we teach in the Sure Shot program how to convert that passive notes to consolidated active notes based on the themes of PYQs, right? Second major problem, no proper understanding of the demand of the question. Now this is a major issue. Without understanding the proper demand of the question, you start writing the answer. Understanding the demand of the question is the most important thing to write a good answer. I'll give you a question here. Political control over the civil services is essential for operationalizing the principle of triple chain of accountability. Explain. Now this is the question. Now what is this question demanding? The demand of the question is how political control over civil services is essential for establishing triple chain of accountability. Triple chain of accountability is the consequence and the cause is political control over civil services. That link needs to be established. But generally what students will do? They will write an introduction by quoting Sardar Patel. Right? Then what they will do? They will write the role of civil services, 5 to 6 points. Then they will write the challenges the civil services face. They will provide a way forward and conclusion. Now the summary is that your answer is independent of the question. This is a classic example of not understanding the demand of the question, and this is what we point out. We teach students in the Sure Shot program. Understanding the demand of the question is essential. Answer not oriented as per directive word or command. Significant number of commands are there. Examine, comment, explain, elucidate, critically analyze, critically examine, argue, justify, assess. But whatever be the command, your answer generally is the same structure. Introduction, body, challenge, way forward and conclusion. Your answers are not oriented as per the demand of the question and as well as the command of the question. I'll show how Komal was able to address not only the demand properly but also the command properly. Right? Next, very poor structuring of the answer. Khichdi type, mixed veg type of answer. What does it mean? It simply means that whatever you know, all the facts and data, figures, you are simply putting it into the answer. Writing everything you know about a question, which are not relevant at all. No coherence between point or paragraphs. It is difficult to find out what exactly the student is trying to convey. Very serious problem. Following a mechanical approach to all question, of course, following a mechanical approach. The same structure is used in every answer without having any innovation. Although the question is demanding something, you are writing something. Every question will have challenges, even though the command is explained. Right? Mechanical approach. Introduction, either too small or too lengthy. Your introduction may be one-liner, not even a proper sentence, or it is too lengthy. Your sentence is like a paragraph. Restatement of the question is being restated. Irrelevant introduction. In ethics paper, you may start with articles. Irrelevant. It should be within the subject matter. The temperament of the paper, the vocabulary of the paper should be properly followed. Irrelevant introduction. Improper, wrong definition. You want to write a definition, but you are unable to develop the proper definition. You end up writing wrong definition, improper definition, a very significant flaw. Now, as far as the body is concerned, core theme versus non-core theme. This is very important to understand the essence of the question, the core demand of the question, the core demand and non-core demand, the core theme and non-core theme. It is necessary to develop this habit of identifying, distinguishing the core demand and the core theme. Core demand and core theme are similar. This is what we teach the students, to develop that idea and devote content, time and space to the core demand. Now, what is the core demand in that question? Political control over civil services is essential for operationalizing the principle of triple chain of accountability, that linkage between political control and triple chain of accountability. That is the core demand. That has to be written. Too much content on fundamentals, basic aspects. The basic aspect, fundamentals. If you know about triple chain of accountability, one page is used to writing that triple chain of accountability. Or you will write political control of civil services, one page. That is not what asked. I'll show you one question, how Komal has been able to limit that basic and focused on the main demand of the question. Disregarding subject temperament. This is what I explained earlier also. Right? Using too many articles, too many laws in, for example, in GS4. It has a separate vocabulary, it has subject matter. The very reason why your GS is separated into 1, 2, 3, 4 is because it has separate subject matter, separate vocabulary, separate orientation, separate temperament. In society question, you are writing entire polity. No. Overlapping points. In order to increase the content, what do? You keep writing. 7 points, 8 points, 10 points. But you are unable to develop distinct points. Overlapping. Next. Too many points. Yes, too many points. As if it depends, the marks depends upon the number of points you write. The analysis, the explanation is missing. The linkage is missing. Poor substantiation despite the demand. Substantiate with the example. Or let's say, critically analyze. Right? So, in-depth examination is required. You are not writing it. Examples not explain when demanded. Yes, explain with the examples. Illustrate with examples. Just referring examples will not do. You need to explain it. Lack of prioritization of points. A very significant, serious issue. The most important points are written at the last and the least important points are written at the first, which shows that you are unable to organize your knowledge. You are unable to organize the content properly. You are unable to prioritize the points properly. Way forward not written. If written too generic way forward, not specific to the question, not in question of demand. In every question you will be writing about Viksit Bharat, 5 trillion economy, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Or you may bring some thinkers' theory from optional. No, not at all. Should be relevant. Conclusion, not writing conclusion. Writing conclusion is very much important, my dear friends. Writing conclusion will not only provide a closure to the answer, but also it provides an opportunity for you to impress the examiner one last time as far as the question is concerned. Very much necessary. And of course, if written, then not relevant in question context. Written in points, diagram, etc. No point, no diagram. Conclusion should be written in sentence. Opinion-based question, no view taken. Do you agree? Argue. What is your opinion? How will you justify? No view taken. right? If view is taken either inappropriate or black and white, do you agree? I agree. I don't agree. No. Your answer should reflect the thinking of a future civil servant. A civil servant does not think black and white. So understand this. Other such flaws you will find: weak presentation, poor alignment, ineligible writing, very poor handwriting, improper space utilization, significant space is not utilized, proper space utilization is not followed, etc., etc. Remember, we will be taking a separate session on the philosophy of sure short mains program, where we will comprehensively analyze all these points which I have just mentioned, right? Anyway, now what we teach our students in sure short mains program, this is a glimpse of what our program is all about, the strategies which we follow, right? Theme-based note making with PYQs at the core, right? The strategy, the approach, how to transform the passive note to active note, PYQ-based note making. Fundamental approach of sure short mains program. Integration of current development into these themes. Yes, current development need to be integrated. How to integrate? What to integrate? When to integrate? Not all relevant issues, development to be integrated. How it should be done. Where to draw the line. We will teach you. How to prioritize and address all the demands of the question. Yes, how to address all the demands, but to focus on the core demand. How to prioritize your point. Decoding the command easiest way. You will find that there are significant number of commands, right? We will tell you how to decode it, understand the most easy manner, right? It will become very easy for you to write the answer. Remember, command is very much important because the orientation of the answer will change as per the command, right? Template-based idea point generation. Template-based point generation. Template means what? Dimensions, angle. Templates provide you the foundation to think and develop ideas. Generate points, the political dimension, the economic dimension, the social dimension, the technological dimension, legal dimension, administrative dimension, moral dimension, individual dimension from a different level, community, societal, state level, national level, international level, right? This will provide a framework, a structure, a foundation upon which you can build points and write a wonderful answer, right? Next, various models for writing introduction, body, way forward, conclusion. Answer should not be mechanical, it should be dynamic, right? So you need to develop a different approach to writing the introduction, conclusion, way forward and body. We will teach you that. Content and space management in answers. Content and space management. Not a mixed veg, not a khichdi type answer, right? Use the space properly. How to do that? We will teach you. Developing interlinkages, connecting phrases. An answer should be like a story. How to develop that? How to develop that interlinkages, that connecting sentences or connecting phrases. Value addition and innovative answer writing. What is value addition? Too much content is not value addition, my dear friends. What is the value that need to be added? How to make your answer innovative? We'll tell you. Continuous enhancement of writing skills. Continuous enhancement. Once you keep writing, after making those active notes and undergo the mentoring process, a 360-degree approach that we follow, your writing skill will improve continuously, right? Now let us see how Komal Punia, All India Rank 6 of Sure Short Mains program, followed our strategy. What I have done is I have taken few points, right? And I will show you from her answers, which she wrote as part of Sure Short Mains test series, right? Point number 1, addressing all the demands of the question. Addressing all the demands, right? Let us see how Komal was able to address all the demands of the question. I have taken few questions, right? Discuss the role of department related standing committee DRSC system in improving parliamentary effectiveness. Now, discuss the role of Department Standing Committee system in improving parliamentary effectiveness. A decent intro is written. Role of DRSC in improving effectiveness written. Challenges written. Why challenge? Discuss is the command. Right? Way forward written and a proper conclusion written. Now you tell me whether she has missed any demand? No. This is a classic example of writing or answering or addressing all the demands of the question within the available space and time. Now, let us take another question. Discuss the role of microfinance institutions in rural financial empowerment in India. Microfinance institution and rural financial empowerment in India. Now let us see how Komal was able to address all the demands of the question. Introduction, she was able to utilize the concept of MFI from the Bangladesh experience. A brilliant introduction, I would say. Role of MFIs in rural financial empowerment. She has written that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Right? Next. However, there are issues. Discuss is the command. Issues. Then you see way forward. You see this. I'll add one more dimension here. See this. The way she was able to develop this flow chart. And this flow chart, how space is properly managed. Right? Way forward. Government initiatives like SHG bank linkage, and she also added this MFI and NGO linkages. Way forward. Even though space is very less, my dear friends, a conclusion has been written. This is what we mean by addressing all the demands. It will not come easy. It will come with practice and right guidance and strategy. And the short program is designed in such a way. Right? Now, let us see the point number 2. Hitting the core demand of the question. Core demand. Remember, non-core demand and core demand. Core demand should be devoted space and content and time. Let us see how Komal has done that. The scope for corruption increases when the accountability of public administration is fragile and division of power is ambiguous. Analyze. What is the core demand of the question? The core demand is simple. Corruption. The scope is increasing because of weak accountability and division of power is not clear. Unclear division of power and lack of strong accountability or weak accountability. Because of these, corruption increasing. So your core demand should be number 1 and number 2. Let us see how she has done that. Corruption increases when accountability is fragile. Taken and explained. Ambiguous division of power, taken and explained. How she has explained it beautifully. Overlapping rules, duplicity of efforts, reduce accountability. When there is weak accountability, then there is no incentive to be accountable, to be responsible. When there is weak accountability, the incentive for doing wrong will increase. When there is weak accountability, then there will be less answerability. When there is less answerability, then there will be less justifiability. And of course, there will be hardly any sanction or enforcement. Right? Division of power is ambiguous, not clear. What will happen? No clarity of authority. Who will control who? No unified command. It is easy to pass the buck. It will also provide incentive to do wrong thing. This is what she has written. So the core demand has been taken and explained properly. Right? Now, let us see this question. Discuss the role of Department Standing Committee system in improving parliamentary effectiveness. What is the core demand, my dear friends, here? The core demand is the linkage between DRSC and parliamentary effectiveness. How the department-led standing committees improve the effectiveness of parliament. Now, what is the effectiveness of parliament? What is the job of parliament? What is effectiveness? An institution is able to achieve its aim, then it is effective. So, what is the aim or objective of parliament? Accountability of the executive. Right? Accountability. Second, legislation. Now, how the DRSC helps the parliament to achieve that? That is the core demand. But generally, what students will write? They will write about DRSC, they will write about its composition, structure, members, etc., etc. One page will be gone. Then they will write challenges of DRSC, way forward, conclusion. The core demand is missing. Your answer to this question will be about what you know rather than what is the demand of the question. Now, what Komal have done? Directly role of DRSC in improving effectiveness. Examine demand of grants of various ministries, budgetary accountability, which means financial accountability. The point. Provide expertise and effective discussion, deliberation for lawmaking. Right? So, from the beginning itself, instead of beating around the bush, instead of writing too much fundamentals or basics, starting the core demand from the beginning itself after writing an appropriate introduction. That is what we are meaning when we say, right, core demand. Right? Let's move further. Point number 3, decoding the command perfectly. Command. Now, how Komal has been able to orient, modulate her answer as per the command. Examine the impact of recent changes to the election commissioner's appointment process on autonomy and independence of the election commission. Now, she has written one intro. Examine is the command. What is the meaning of examine? When you examine, you need to write weaknesses, issues or challenges. You write an answer that is being examined by the evaluator. Right? Depending upon what you write appropriately, depending upon what you know, depending upon the right content you write, you will get marks. Right? But your issues, challenges, weaknesses will be highlighted. Right? So, examine weaknesses or issues or challenges. So, in this context, the recent change is about the Act, which provided an appointment process as far as the election commissioners are concerned. Now, however, there are issues. This is what we may examine. Command. Although there are changes, fine. But there are some issues with respect to this process. And what are those issues highlighted? SC suggested committee included? Yes. Anu Barandwal case, Supreme Court suggested that the committee can include PM, CJI and LOP. Now what happened when the parliament enacted that law? Instead of CJI, who? A union cabinet minister nominated by the prime minister. Now what she has written? Presence of union minister instead of CJI may lead to executive influence. Absolutely. That's the point we are trying to say. Command. Command. Right? Now, let's move further. Increasing complexity in public administration creates multiple ethical dilemmas. Explain the application of Gandhi's talisman in decision making for public servants. What is the command? Explain. What is the meaning of the word explain? To make something clear. Write in detail. Or write how. Why. So, In explain, you don't have to write any criticism or any weakness or challenges. Unlike in examine or discuss, for that matter. Right? Now see this. Gandhi's talisman as a guide. Gandhi's talisman is to resolve ethical dilemmas as if any action benefit people at last rung, brilliant, then they are ethical without compromising means. Gandhi's talisman, the poorest of the poor. Recall the face of the poorest of the poor on the street and take decision accordingly. Gandhi's talisman is actually influenced by John Ruskin's unto this last. Right? When John Ruskin advocated, emphasized that the public policy, the government policy should be oriented towards the welfare of the poorest of the poor. In fact, Gandhi's Sarvodaya has been influenced by John Ruskin's unto this last. But anyway, let's see this. Can you see any criticism or any weakness or any challenge here in this content? You cannot. Why? Command is explained. This is what we are trying to say. Stick to the command, decode the command, understand the command, and orient the answer accordingly. Had the command is discuss or examine or such any other command, the orientation of the answer would change. But because it is explained, no change. Right? Let's move further. Point number 4. Various types of appropriate introductions. As I mentioned, as far as short program, we teach students to develop appropriate, relevant introductions. Not a mechanical one. Now let us see how Komal has applied these strategies. Definition-based introduction. Defining the concept. Probity in governance is vital requirement for socio-economic development, without which no real progress is possible in a nation. Discuss. Support your answer with suitable examples. Now, what is the definition? Probity refers to consistent and uncompromising adherence to principles of honesty and integrity. A wonderful, appropriate, relevant, correct introduction. A definition-based one. Another question as far as ethics is concerned. This probity as well as wisdom, these two questions are part of ethics, as you know. Wisdom is attained when a person is always ready to accept the truth and to renounce untruth. Wisdom. What is defined? Wisdom. Wisdom is intellectual ability to defend truth and taking actions accordingly. A simple, appropriate, relevant, definition-based introduction. Now let us see another one. Issue-based introduction. The issue in the question is highlighted in the first place. Increasing complexity in public administration creates multiple ethical dilemmas. Explain the application of Gandhi's talisman in decision making for public servants. Complexity in public administration creates multiple ethical dilemma. What she has done, the complexities, the conflicts, the value conflicts are highlighted in the beginning itself, in the introduction. Right? Public administration is becoming increasingly complex with rising challenges, issues, cyber attacks, digital fraud, service delivery issues, political pressure, etc., etc. That provides a strong footing. That shows that she understood the question properly. A fundamental building block of the answer is built. Brilliant. Now, let us see other type of intros. Objective-based introduction. Objective, the aim, objective of any program or any policy or any scheme. Now, this is about, do you agree that the aspirational district program has emerged as a template for good governance? Substantiate. Now, what is the introduction he has written? Aspirational district program, ADP, aims to transform 1 and 2 most backward districts of India into aspirational districts with high social economic indicators. That is the objective aim of the program. Right? So, if a 10 marker, what she has done? She has introduced the question by using the aim of it. The question is not on ADP, but linkage with good governance. So she has used the objective of the scheme to introduce the question properly. Now, context-based introduction, contextual intro. So some questions have been asked by keeping context in mind. So contextual-based introduction provide the examiner the idea that the student has understood the question. Let us see the question. What are the strategic challenges to the global economy in active decoupling from China? How will it benefit India's economic growth prospects? You know that COVID-19 has been the prime mover of this decoupling from China. Now what she has done? COVID-19 pandemic ushered focus in active decoupling from China as part of China Plus One strategy by many nations. So China Plus One strategy, COVID-19, that context has been taken and the question is introduced properly, right? Because the introduction is contextual, the examiner knows that yes, now the student knows what the question is asking. She understood the question properly, right? Let's move further. Point number 5, template-based content generation. As I mentioned earlier, template. Template means what? Templates are ideas, angles, dimensions. Like a cube has 6 sides. An issue can have multiple angles, multiple dimensions, multiple aspects, right? So it can be, as I mentioned, political dimension or political angle, economic, social, governance, administrative, individual, community level, state level, local level, international level, national level, right? So multiple perspectives. This template, these angles, these perspectives will help you to generate points and write a wonderful structured answer. One of the major challenge or complaint that students have is we are unable to develop points. You are unable to develop points because you are unable to think properly. How to think properly? How to develop that cognitive capacity within a structured framework? That is the very idea of this template. This is what we teach students, to develop points, structured points, not overlapping points, distinct, valid, organized points. Now let us see how Komal have done that. Huge sums of public funds are used in populist measures for electoral gains. What are the ethical issues associated with the freebie culture? Issues. An issue has multiple angle, multiple dimension. So freebie can have political dimension, economic dimension, fiscal dimension, governance dimension, democratic dimension, behavioral dimension, etc., etc. Now, it is not necessary that you write in this manner. It's not necessary that you should write political dimension, economic dimension, etc. This dimension will help you to develop points. Right? Let us see how Komal have done that. Ethical issues, corruption. Now, political gains. So, political dimension. Instill indiscipline among public sector, indiscipline. So, economic dimension. Misuse of taxpayers' money, fiscal dimension. Fiscal dimension. Unethical governance, governance as a dimension. Against free and fair elections and democracy. Of course, this could have been clubbed, but anyway, democratic. Enhance dependency on government, dependency. What is this? Behavioral dimension. So this template, this perspective, this angle, these aspects provide what? The framework to think. And because of which you will be able to develop points. All the points are distinct. Right? Distinct points. But of course, it's not possible to write a perfect answer. Right? But the point is that this is how she was able to develop that idea. Develop points by using template. And this is what we teach students. This is only one illustration. Now, Let's move further. Point 6. Developing interlinkages, connecting phrase. One of the major problems is that your answers operate in silos, disjointed. No connection between, if you're writing in paragraph, the preceding paragraph and the latter paragraph. No connection between the demands of the question. No connection between subheadings and headings. It is as if the answer which you write operate independently, which means compartmentalized. No, an answer should be like a story. It should be pleasing to read. Should have connections, linkages. Now, how Komal has done that? This is what we are going to see here. Discuss the role of MFI in rural financial empowerment in India. Now, as I mentioned, right? Discuss. It's a command. Now, this command, discuss, which means issues, challenges, etc. need to be written. Issues or challenges or weakness, whichever term you like. Now, just writing challenges is not enough. However, there are issues. Associated with MFI. Instead of simply writing issues. However, this is what we mean by interlinkages. Connecting phrases, connecting sentences, which connect this content with the previous one. Right? And one more example for you. Do you agree that the ADP program has emerged as a template for good governance? Substantiate. Do you agree? So alternative view should be written. Challenges, issues. Right? See this. However, there are challenges. Instead of simply writing challenges. However, there are challenges. This is the beauty of this answer. This is the beauty of the copy. Right? That connectivity, that linkages, that makes the answer a beautiful thing to read. Right? Now, what makes her answers stand out? We have seen the points, and I have also shown you how she was able to integrate these points in her answers. Now, I want to summarize what all we so far discussed. Learning and implementing short strategies. One of the major reasons for the way she was able to write those answers is because she was able to integrate the strategies, approaches that we provide as far as our short mains program is concerned. Coherent body of organized knowledge. As part of the program, we teach students how to develop that coherence, how to organize it, rather than operating in independent silos, how to make the answer a coherent body of knowledge. Right? Excellent presentation. How to improve your presentation, how to use maps, how to use flowcharts, how to manage the space properly, how to align your answer properly. Writing with the framework of the question. Do not beat around the bush. Remain present in the context of the question. Don't write which is not needed. Right? Keep your foot grounded on the demand of the question. Simple yet powerful articulation. Articulation will come when you have the proper strategy, proper guidance, proper notes, when you understand the demand and command. Right? So it's an integrated approach that we follow as far as short mains program is concerned. And she was able to integrate it, adapt it as far as her answers are concerned. And of course, the result is there for all of us to see. Right? Now, how you can be the next? How you can be another topper in the UPSC? You can be the next. But I see significant gaps in your preparation as far as answer writing is concerned. You will be the next topper provided you have proper guidance. And we at the Short program are here to hold your hand and take you to the annals of glory. We are here to address your weaknesses, We are here to fill the gap in your approach. We are here to mentor you so that you can master the UPSC and achieve the success. You can translate your dreams into reality. We are here to help you. Come, join us. See the transformation. Let us create history together. God bless you. All the best. Jai Hind.